This is Andy Purewell for Boxing News. I'm joined by Dalton Smith here in London. Dalton, how are you?
I'm all good. Another press conference. The weather's not too bad today, so it's all good.
Bit different to the last time you did a press conference. Last time they gave you your own separate segment. Now you've got to share the stage with everybody else.
Yeah, I've got to share it now, but of course, it is what it is.
As you get closer towards the world title, Dalton, you're getting less credibility from Eddie.
No, hopefully Eddie ups his game when I get a world title shot.
Before we do come on to that world title route, let's start off with your next outing, Mr. Jermaine, on the poster behind yourself. Before we ask why, talk to me about him, what you know about him.
Yeah, obviously I didn't know too much about him before. I was saying before, fighters get made, we have like a few names, fight gets done. But like I always said to my dad and Sean, look, you go and get my opponent. When it's confirmed, let me know. I'm not one to be like, I'm going to watch this guy and watch that guy. I trust my team, trust my dad, trust Sean. But as soon as I get a name, then, that's when I'll focus. But, Matthew Jermaine, he's got a great record, boxed some great kids, and I'm expecting, he's gonna come to bring a tough fight. So, that's why I'm going to prepare 100%.
I don't want to discredit your last performance, but obviously it was the same theme going into that. You expected more from your last man, and obviously you took him out inside the first round. Do you expect a stiffer test from Jermaine?
I'd like to think so, yeah. But it's boxing. You get caught early on, it's game over. So that can happen in the 12th, can happen in the first. So if the opportunity is there, we're going to take them.
The world title is literally around the corner now. Are rounds on your mind going into a potential world title fight? Do you want to get a few more rounds under your belt now?
I mean, it's always good to get the rounds under your belt, but if I can get a fight done in the first round, I'm not complaining. I've got no worries of going 12 rounds, or I've done it quite a few times now. Do it in sparring every fight. So I've never got any doubt to do the rounds, do the distance. So of course it is good to get the rounds under your belt. They're there. You've got them in the bag, but if I can get them done early, I'd rather do that.
Let's go on to that route towards world titles. Alberto Puello defeated Sandor Martin in a very close fight this past weekend out in New York. What did you make of the fight first and Alberto's performance?
Yeah, I've seen the highlights of it. I thought it was technically a good fight. You could see they was both trying to suss each other out. Two awkward styles as well, so yeah, I kind of expected that, but whoever the winner would have been, I'd have been happy for.
I know you're saying you've only seen the highlights, but from what you did see, was you impressed, or did you still feel like there's plenty there for you to take advantage of?
I think anyone who I fight, there'd be plenty there to take advantage of. So, like I say, either one of them, whoever would have won, I'd have been happy for. But of course, they're both world-class operators, and like you say, when the opportunity comes, I'll be ready.
When you was officially mandated earlier this year to be the WBC mandatory, I saw Eddie posted the email saying that the winner of Puello Martin will have one voluntary, and then most likely you'll be called. So is that the plan? Get through Jermaine, touch wood, nothing goes wrong, and then world titles next after that?
Hopefully that. Obviously that's down to my team to sort the business side of that. My job is to focus on April the 19th, get a job done there, and then we'll see where we can go.
I just want to get your thoughts on another fight this past weekend. Gary Russell Jr. put on a bit of a clinic against Rayo Valenzuela. If you've only seen the highlights of Puello Martin, I imagine it might be the same for Russell, but just your thoughts on seeing Russell with a world title?
I've actually not seen that fight yet, but from what I heard, he boxed well. I've always rated Gary Russell. I think he's a good fighter. But like I said, once I'm up there, I'm going to be the man.
I know you don't like to get drawn into talking about different fights and different opponents and that, but who do you think would be your stiffest test at world level?
I think any fight's a stiff test, especially at world level. Styles make fights, and until you're in there, it's how they gel out. But once I'm at the top and I'm at that world title challenge for world titles, of course I'll go in with any of them.
You also had a press conference in New York this week for a number of guys who have boxed in and around your weight class. Get your thoughts on some of them. Teofimo Lopez-Barboza Jr. What's your take on that fight?
Yeah, I think Teo will win that fight as long as Teo turns up. Obviously, sometimes it's a bit unpredictable with performances, but I think the better the opposition, the better Teo turns up, and I think Teo is probably one of the strongest in the division for me. So yeah, I think all those who were on that front row, I think they'll all be great fights, and one I'll be keeping an eye on.
Haney Ramirez as well. Just get your thoughts on that one, please, Dalton.
Yeah, like I said, another good fight. I think Ramirez looks like he's dipped a little bit, but still a world-class fighter, and I think he could still give Devin Haney some problems.
And also, whilst I've got you, the Eubank Junior Ben Press Tour was taking place last week. Just get your thoughts on that fight when he swings around. Who do you think has the edge?
It's one of those. Is it going to be too much weight for Darren Barker there, trying to get his attention? He's not had any for a week, so he's trying to get his face in cameras. But yeah, is it going to be too much for the weight to be taken off Eubank, or is Ben going to have the advantage with it, with the weight and stuff? So we'll have to find out. But as it stands, I just think Eubank might have a little bit more experience, a bit more activity behind him as well. So, but other than that, I think it's going to be a great fight.
Also want to get your take on Lee Wood and Anthony Cacace. A fantastic fight, two heavy-handed men. Who do you think is the favourite heading into it?
I think it has war written all over it. I think it's going to be one hell of a fight, but I probably favour Lee Wood in that one. I think same again. Cacace's he's vacated the title now, but I just think Lee Wood's got more experience behind him, and I can see him coming out of that fight victorious.
Just last one from me, Dalton. As a fighter yourself, a lot of controversy in New York last weekend in the main event, Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. The 9th round, whether it was classed as knockdown or not, what was your take on that specific incident?
Looking at it, it's a knockdown. He took a knee. It should have, for me, gone down as a knockdown, but of course he wasn't hurt. You could see that, obviously, he got his air gel in his eyes or whatever it was, but you take a knee, it's an 8 count, and if you're looking at the scorecards, that means what's the guy's name again? Lamont Roach. He should have won by a point.
Is that where you feel a bit for Lamont, then?
A little bit, yeah, because like you said, to push Tank to a fight that close and then not get the knockdown as well. What realistically could have won him the fight. It's a little bit hard done by.
Dalton, I appreciate your time. I know we're probably about to start, so thanks for speaking to me. I'll speak to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.